how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
To infinity and beyond.
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
It's classified.
You talking to me?
I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
I can't lie!
Expecto Patronum!
Entertainment X.
You never know what you're gonna get.
For this episode, I chat with Nasia Thomas. Nasia is currently in the cast of Ain't Too Proud, and we talk about her career thus far. We cover a lot on energies, taking time for yourself, self-care, themes that I've been finding are crucial to living a happier life. And Nasia is in the middle of discovering that, and she shares what she's learned thus far and what she continues to seek. I think there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful, actionable takeaways from this conversation. So I hope you enjoy and keep on keeping on. We're back. I'm Clayton Howe, and today with me is Nasia Thomas.
Yes.
Nasia, thank you for sitting down with me on this beautifully cold day.
Yeah, so cold. My hair is frizzing up, and I'm sweating cold sweats.
Cold sweat. It is this summer in New York City. So you come to me by way of Lexi Carter.
Yeah.
Love that girl.
I know.
Elon.
Yeah.
You guys went to Elon together. Mm-hmm. Did you love it?
I loved Elon. I did. I think that Elon is different from a lot of different programs that a lot of my friends went to. I won't name any specific names for programs, but our program is family based, and we celebrate our department head and all of our teachers and faculty and the students. We are really big on celebrating the individual. So like, I know a lot of colleges that make you sign like contracts and say that you have to stay the same weight and you can't do this, and it's a cut program, and after, and Elon's not about that. We celebrate the individual, because at the end of the day, it's the individual that has to work,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I love that, because when I look at the classes that are going through, it's unique groups, eclectic. It's really wonderful.
Yep.
It's not, like cardboard cutouts
No.
of
Nobody
what
looks
people
the
think.
same. Nobody
No.
sounds the same.
Nobody acts the same.
Nobody
None of
acts the same. Yeah.
I love that. Growing up, what were your theater dreams? Did you want to do theater?
So I went through a lot of different paths. So
Okay.
I first wanted to be like an author, illustrator, like creative writing.
Oh, cool.
And specifically like horror. So
Okay.
like in, what is it, 5th grade at middle school?
Yeah.
No, that's before middle school, I think.
Yeah,
Whatever.
6th, 7th grade, 8th grade, middle school.
Something like that. I used to do a lot of creative writing, and then I started to like draw, illustrate. So I was like, I'm going to be an author and an illustrator, but I wasn't a very good, I didn't draw very well.
Okay.
And I actually wrote this Harry Potter mini book called Harry Potter and the Loved Mirror. And I sent it to, or either I sent it or I sent the idea to J.K. Rowling. But of course, she didn't really respond. I think it was probably like her manager or something. And I got a letter back, and I don't have it. And I probably threw it away, because I didn't realize that could have been worth a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it said?
I think keep writing.
Yeah, it was encouragement.
Something like that, yeah.
What was
Keep writing.
what was a horror book in 5th grade that got you hooked?
No,
I'm
I'm really into like paranormal. Like
Paranormal
even
stuff.
now I'm kind of into it, and it kind of keeps me up at night. Being like a child who grew up, Googling ghost stories and watching scary movies. And I still love scary movies to this day, and always being fascinated with, I don't know, like spirits. And I think it has kind of tied into who I am now, as far as like understanding that energy is a very important thing. Just like energy, you can't destroy energy. It's like science,
Yeah.
someone goes to the other side,
Yeah.
you can't kill the energy,
Still
so
there.
yeah. But now I realize it's very important to me. It's just my whole evolution with energy and figuring out how that works with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I love
that was
this.
a lot.
I got a lot of questions. No, we opened up a whole can of something here. No, I like this. Are you doing daily practices or anything on your energy? Are you paying attention to that in your life?
Yes. So at this time in my life, there's been like a lot of success, but also I'm
Yes.
finding out that I think I deal with anxiety Like, and I get very stressed very easily. And a lot of people are always like, you need to meditate. And meditation is hard. Meditation is so hard. And I just now downloaded my little Calm app.
Okay.
So every day I light my incense to, clear, like incense is supposed to like clear the energy in the room and, make everything light. So I light my incense and I meditate and I try to sit and be quiet just at the start and at the end of my day, and even like on the train, coming to work and leaving from work, just trying to sit still and focus my energy, and set my intentions. And it's been very, very helpful to me lately. And I mean, I just started, but that is something I feel like is very important. Finding out how to work with your energy zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and find your peace. Finding peace.
Finding peace.
Finding peace. That's what I'm working on right now. Finding peace in a storm of good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it gets shuffled so quickly the second you leave your bedroom.
It does. And I mean, I'm not perfect at it. Like obviously I just started to become serious with it, but it is helping. Yeah. It is helping a lot.
Are you doing like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes?
So on the Calm app, every day there's like a different meditation with a different focus. So today was grounded. Great. So I usually do however long that little segment is, and usually they're around like 10 and a half minutes. Great. It's perfect from when you're going from 125th to 42nd Street, that little 12-minute train ride, so I can do it there too as well.
Has it affected your reacting versus responding to situations already?
Yes, especially on stage as well. I have a scene partner. His name is Ephraim Sykes, and I was having some trouble with just like getting out of my head and trying to focus on the story, getting out of my head and stop judging myself. That is also a big challenge for me, is getting out of my head, worrying and judging myself. And he was like, Nasia, you just need to breathe. And I'm like, wait, I am breathing. I have to breathe to sing, but working on breath work. And I remember there was a moment like last month where I breathed during our song and I literally could feel everything just melt. And I did really good work just being able to breathe and being able to react truthfully, even in my scene stuff, like with Derek Baskin at the top of the show, just like breathing and not...
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever like experienced that, doing your scene and you find yourself, you're not breathing. You're just like, trying to be in the moment, but you're not breathing. Right. and judging what the line you just said out of your mouth and just breathing. Yeah. And connecting with your energy.
Oh, I love that.
It's good. It's really helped. And a lot of people, like when they say stuff like that, Nasia, just breathe. You're like, what are you talking about? I always have to breathe, but actually breathe. Breathing actually grounds you and helps you to, react. And
I love this. So in terms of auditioning,
right?
Because you brought up the anxiety and the thinking, watching yourself. How are you, or how have you in the past tamed that voice? What mind space are you getting into to go in and do your best work? Okay. So you're not sabotaging yourself.
Right. So it's kind of, I'm kind of like a tricky beast. So on one end, I am very in my head and very worried. But on the other end, there's like a part of me that can just, so like, especially like during song. Yeah. I am able to quiet a voice, and able to get through, whatever I have to get through, just because I feel like that's my strong suit. But it doesn't matter about the strong suit. It's about what you do when you're in your moments of what you think are not your weaknesses, but things that you have to work towards. And, I think that I am still figuring that out. Like for me, that's sides. Okay. So I am somebody who I feel like I need to get back into acting classes. So when I get into an audition and they're like, okay, it's time for you to do the sides, no matter how well I do it in the dressing room before I go to Pearl or go to Ripley, when I get into that room and like whenever I'm in front of people and I have to do that, it's hard. It's really hard. But I think that knowing when to breathe, but also I have to tell myself, like before I had this audition, I've been going through this audition process for a show for the last couple weeks. And I think just going in with a peace of mind of knowing that it will go the way it's supposed to go, like having to do a little pep talk with myself. You're here. You're not here to get the job. You're here to practice. How do I say this? You're here to practice. You're here to win over a room, or you're here to, I don't know. I used it as, this is your moment. I'm already in a show. So, I'm already blessed enough to have a job. So I used this last audition as, you're going to overcome something. This is going to be a teaching moment, and this is going to be a learning moment. So I had to pep talk and say, you know what, everything that is supposed to happen will happen with this. So you have to just go in there and you just have to breathe and you have to just do your work. This is for you, just as much as it is for them to be able to find a person to do this job. This is for you. This is for you. Breathe. This is for you to go in there and to do work for yourself. I don't know if I really answered the question. I kind of went off on a tangent, I think. But I think I answered the question. Did I answer the question?
I love this. Yes. In short, yeah.
There's
did.
So much. There's so much.
But just being.
Because
the more of yourself that you are, the more difficult you make their decision, because they're like, damn, but she's so, her. So what do we want? It's
right.
Because the second you stop trying to be what someone wants and you're just yourself, that's when you have these moments of like, the team is like, oh, Jesus, this is so good. What do we do with this person? Because it's so, you can take it so to your life, your background, which is coming from this breathing and being.
Yeah, and just realizing that things will always turn out the way that they're supposed to. So why go in there and worry? Why?
Yeah.
And it's so hard. That's hard to do, though. And still, I still struggle with that. But just the more that you can think of, just try not to worry about it so much, because you are already on the path, and you will continue to be on the path that is meant for you.
Yeah.
So why stress? You're in the room. You already did half of the work. You know what I mean? Because you're already present in the room.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going off on tangents.
No, I like it. It's all the whole thing is tangents, but there's really good points here, because even bring the energy of being booked.
Yeah.
If you can bring that energy in when you don't have a job and you'd really like one.
Right.
Right. It's that everything that happens before and after the actual sides too. It's like, who are you? How are you being? What is your level of security or insecurity in the space of this world?
And how can you change yourself? You know what I mean? You go in there, and I said this 15 times before, 2 minutes ago. It's for you. It's for you. It's practice. Just like we had the audition tech classes in high school and in college when we learned how to audition. This is for you. It's a learning moment for you. How can I go in here and do my best work, even though I know that I might be a little scared to do these sides? How can I apply everything that I've learned, but how can I just stay grounded even when I am afraid or insecure about, whatever skill set they're asking you to do? How can I overcome that? Every single time you audition is a practice, and then every single time you go to the next audition, you get over something. And that was what was really important for me for this last round of auditions that I was doing. I left and I was like, you know what? I did the best that I could do. Damn it! Sometimes you leave auditions, you're like, I could have.
Yeah.
You judge yourself too harshly.
Oh,
but
yeah.
just go in there and be, which is so hard, but just practice it.
I love how you're opening up about it, and how much you're talking about it, because out of the 50 repetitions, one of those is going to resonate with someone.
Yeah.
And that's why I love to capture this, because it's like there's great stuff here that
Yeah.
we're talking about. So you graduated college 2015. Mm-hmm. You've done a thing or four since then.
A couple things.
Right out of college, what were some like serious life lessons or, business or, in this profession of things that came your way that you were like, you had to learn from? I don't know, any learning moments or big lessons?
Well, I mean, I already touched on one of them. But I'll say this, not to rush my journey. Even though I feel like things kind of like turned over a little quickly for me, there were still moments of comparing. This person graduated and they went, I think Adam Kaplan, who went to Elon, he graduated and I think he went straight to Newsies, straight to Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
And like not rushing one's journey, and understanding that it's all about when things come to you in your time. Yeah. And also, one thing that I will say, something that I learned out of school, I should have paid more attention in dance class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or in class, period. Because when you're in school, you don't want to get up at 8 a.m. You're pissed. You got to go to 8 a.m. and get up and go to tap. Or, you have to do something like that. But it's being in school and having to go to those classes. And when it was mandatory, it was the greatest gift. Because now it's like no one is there. You don't have a teacher to say, if you don't come to class, I'm going to fail you. And then you're going to lose your financial aid. Now you don't have that. Just having all those resources.
That structure to learn.
Yeah, and graduating, it's up to you. And I definitely, I could have done more. I can still do more, to get back into class and to stay growing and evolving, and to, really get back into the technique of things, because it's not free anymore. It's not
all included or whatever.
Yeah, it's not all included. You have to stay working at it. You have to stay working at it, or you will lose it.
Yeah.
You will lose it.
I know, just little things like having studio space.
Man.
Like it's available in college.
The practice rooms, we had tons of practice rooms.
Which piano you want?
Right. We used to play hide and seek in those practice rooms, And now it's like, dang, I have to actually get up and get a practice room. And I have to pay for that. And I have to figure it out. Man, while you're in there, really take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it. For all the people who are still in school who may be listening, take advantage of it, because when you leave, it will be a scramble. Budgeting your time as well, just take advantage of it.
Have you gotten better at budgeting your time?
Yes. Because I leave time for me now.
Yeah.
I'm learning to leave time for me. So, for instance, I don't really go out anymore. I feel like that was like a college and like a year after college thing.
Yeah.
But also just like knowing that you have to set aside time for self-care in order for you to have the time to do other things. Because if you don't set aside that time, you may just feel stuck,
Yeah. I know it's a tricky balance in the city.
It is.
To go between your work, which is a lot of time, and then the self-care. But then also like those obligations to, if you're going to meet people or you want to go, those happen in the evening hours. Mm-hmm. Just going out, let alone not even thinking about just going out to hang out with friends at a bar.
Right, but just going to do things you have to do, or going to do errands, or going to visit family. It is a tricky thing, but I think that as long as you can just take your time out, like I said, like the 15 minutes every day that I take, the 10, 15 minutes every day, things come a lot clearer when you set your time. This is what I'm going to do today. Yeah.
I like that. What did your parents teach you about work ethic?
Well, I was raised by a single mother of 4 kids, but also she was like the community mom. My mom's also very young.
Okay.
She's 15 years older than me, which makes her like I think she's about to turn 42.
Okay.
I learned from her, because she did it alone. I mean, I guess she had help from like family members, but for the most part, she raised 4 kids by herself. And she has, this is, my little sister just graduated from high school. This is her 3rd kid going to college, basically with her by herself. If you want something, you have to work for it. You have to. My mom didn't just magically poof, and she is a hairstylist. She has her own business. She has a couple of businesses, you know, and it was hard for her. And I'm learning that now, being an adult. And, you know, I'm 26, and I'm like, I was how old when you were 26? I was half your age. Am I able to raise someone who is half my age right now? It was incredible. It had to have been incredibly hard for her. And just to see my mom struggle and work 15-hour days just to come back to, you know, to drive me to an audition. My mom worked so hard, and she built an empire. She built an empire basically by herself. It was because she said, you know what? I have things that I have to do. I have kids I have to raise. And I have to be an example for these children. So I have to work to the bone. I have to. And I think to myself, well, Nasia, I don't want to get up, and I don't feel like getting up and going to this dance class. But did my mom feel like getting up and working 15 hours to feed 4 kids?
She didn't have a choice.
She didn't have a choice. I think about that a lot. A lot of the times where I'm like, I just don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like doing anything. And all of the people who may have lost the ability to walk, who work every single day because they see that the goal, I want to run again. Like, who am I to sit here and try to be lazy when there are people all over the world who are working just to do the simplest of things, like walking, you know? Yeah. Or people like my mom, you know?
Yeah, if you can put your mind there, you're unstoppable. I mean,
completely unstoppable.
If you can, not artificially, but if you can create that, no is not an option.
Right. It's not.
Failure is not an option.
It's not. And I think that we just have to remember that when we don't want to get up. No is not an option. Nasia Thomas, you sit here and you say that you wish that you were, you know, a better technical dancer. But do you get up and do you go to take as many dance classes as you can? The only thing that's in your way is you.
The only thing that's in your way is you. Well,
hello, get up.
I know, yeah, no, I love it. I love it because these are things that we hear and we say to ourselves almost on autopilot.
Yeah.
No, it's not an option. Failure's not an option.
Right.
No. But it's like, no, what does that really mean?
It's not an how can you dare expect to be in the show of your dreams? How do you dare expect to obtain your dreams if you are not doing anything about it? You can boo-hoo, you can write in your journal, you can sit and give yourself all the pep talks of it. But if you're not actively working at it, how are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? I don't know. Magic lamp with a genie? I'm not sure. Go see Aladdin.
Yeah, right. We'll see. Is that in the future for you? No. Do you have any mentors?
Yes. So I would say one of my mentors is actually Derek Baskin, who is in the show, who's in Ain't Too Proud. He is I would say he's the face of the show. He's what we call our fearless leader. He was nominated for a Tony for Best Actor. I saw Derek Baskin in Memphis when I was in high school, and I met him at the stage door. And I was a fan ever since, just because of his kindness. And it's also something that I see every single day when I have to be on that stage with him. He is an example of how to be so stupidly talented, but also how to be such a good human being, a selfless actor, a giving actor. You know, whenever I'm feeling stuck, he says, well, Nasia, what can I do for you? How can I help you out? And I know a lot of people who are in shows, no matter where you are, sometimes you don't have a scene partner who is willing to take a step back and say, well, what can I do for you? You know, and he's given me so much advice. Whenever I'm feeling stuck or if I'm in my head, Nasia, you just connect with the work, just breathe, and know that you are here for a reason. You're here. You're already here. So what are you stressing about? All you have to do is breathe and connect and say the words. That's all you have to do.
I love that.
Yeah, Derek Baskin is everything. And I actually, when I was at Elon, I did this show with Daniel Watts, who also I would consider a big brother as well, who has, helped me out tremendously. I did a show with him. He came back and we did like this little poetry slam situation. And he called Derek Baskin on the phone.
Yeah.
And we were talking to the Derek Baskin, and I recorded it. I recorded it because I was a big old geek. And I'm like, that's Derek Baskin from Spelling Bee. That's Derek Baskin from Little Mermaid. Derek Baskin from Memphis. Like the Derek Baskin that I have studied. And to be able to work with him and to slap him in the chest with a book every night and to play someone who's older than him. What? Someone that you've looked up to for years. Being able to share a stage with him and then also finding out that he is kind. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have to say Derek Baskin.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your views on like professional relationships in this industry and the smallness of it?
In what, like relationships as?
Yeah. How do you? Like so for instance, working on. So you did the Beautiful tour. And you did Beautiful Broadway. Ain't Too Proud. There's got to be some tie-overs between people. Just backstage, on stage.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
See. And what is there? Maintaining those relationships or strength and weak ties. Is there anything to add or share on that?
So lucky for me, there are about 6 people from Beautiful who are in Ain't Too Proud. So it's nice to have those relationships carry over. But I do want to speak about having a good relationship with creatives.
Okay.
Am I accidentally calling somebody? Yes, I am. Having a good relationship with creatives. The associate choreographer from Beautiful is the reason why I am sitting in this chair speaking to you right now from the Beautiful tour. Lovely human being. Her name is Joyce Chittick. And she was the associate. So she was running rehearsals. She would come on tour and get us together.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough, I don't know, I would also consider her one of my mentors, but having a good relationship with the creatives. She brought me to Broadway. She was the one who said, you know what? How about we bring Nasia in for this? And I owe everything to her, but being in good graces, sorry.
You good.
Being in good graces.
Yeah.
And being a person,
right.
Creators remember that. And those relationships are the ones that carry you over because, in 2 years, George Chittick could say, why don't we, bring so-and-so in because I had a good relationship with her when I was working on a show.
Right.
What
was that tie over though? So from the tour to the B-Way, why did she think of you? Was there anything that was said?
I think, I think that she saw something in me that she wanted to take a chance on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I worked my butt off, and I think that I think that she saw that, but also she always speaks of like making sure that people see the good in others. You know what I mean? She was really, really, really big on that. So yeah, she just, said, Stephen Copel, why don't we just have Nasia audition for the part? And they brought me over because of Joyce Chittick. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
But also, yeah.
What?
Well, I was just also going to speak on the relationships of just like the people from Beautiful that are in Ain't Too Proud. They are my rock. Rashidra Scott, who was the original Janelle. She has been in so many Broadway shows. She also grew up in the same hometown as me and went to the same arts high school as me. Being able to have her, also another mentor, being able to have her through both of these experiences, my Broadway debut and also, working on an original show, being able to have her for guidance has been incredible.
Can you speak on rehearsal process and things that you witness other performers doing, like the top performers, the hard work, the stuff that you just see in rehearsals? Are there any stories or things that come to mind?
So Ain't Too Proud was my first original. So I did not know what I was getting into as far as creating an original musical. But I will speak on being able to be free enough to make choices. I'll speak on Derek Baskin once again. He had a choice every other day. And he was not afraid to just go out there and do it. And he was like, if I fall on my face, I'll fall on my face, and then I make another choice, and I learn from that choice, and if it works, it works. Being able to be fearless in that was something that I did observe from him. But also to always be alert on the sides, always be alert to what's going on, because you might learn something from what the stage manager said, even though you're not on stage. Just watching the creative process, watching them speak about how these costumes are going to work. Observing how, Sergio, because somebody was free to make choices, how Sergio will ask, how would this person do this? And how do you want to do this? Always being alert and watching what's going on in the room, because you never know how that's going to help you with your character.
Ooh, that's good. This is good.
Thank
you.
I feel like I'm rambling. Oh Lord.
I really appreciate it. No, because it's so much fun. It's so much fun to hear. You said you're 26, and going from all of these shows so quickly to this point in time, how much you've learned, and the themes that you're repeating. Among these top performers of like, they're kind, they're generous.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're still like right at the beginning of it. I mean, you're at the beginning of whatever else is to come.
Right.
And I think it's so fun for me personally and the people listening to capture that.
Yeah.
Because who knows where you're going to be this time next year.
Oh,
Hello.
I'm excited. Wherever it may be, I'm excited, and I'm trusting in that. Sometimes the unknown is so exciting.
Yeah. Have you gotten more comfortable with the unknown?
Yeah. I would say so. And that's also just like with auditioning as well, because you never know what's going to happen. And also it just ties back into why worry? Why worry? And why beat yourself up over, a no? Because that no is going to be so worth it next year, when you like the unknown, I didn't know what I was going to be doing last year. Last year, I was just finishing up Beautiful 2.0, because I left Beautiful for Ain't Too Proud and then came back to Beautiful and then, left Beautiful again for Ain't Too Proud round 2.
Right.
Who knew that this next year I would be sitting, talking about being in an original Broadway show and performing on the Tonys and meeting all of these people, these idols that I grew up watching on TV. You just never, ever, ever, ever know, which also times goes back into timing. All things always unfold at the right time. They always unfold at the right time. I'm speaking and I'm having realizations as I speak.
I can hear it. I can see it, and I'm sure we can hear it. It's so right, though.
It's just I have these last couple of weeks, and this last year, but specifically this last couple of weeks, I have had just so much of just an awakening on patience and breathing and timing and being okay with not knowing sometimes.
Yeah.
Being okay with not knowing. Because you just never know all the awesome things that may come to you. You just never know. I forgot the question.
There wasn't a question.
Oh.
Isn't that great?
Okay.
So there's no answering or not. No, that time there wasn't. So the Tonys, without, having to talk about the whole night and everything. Post Tonys, life for you. Mm-hmm. Are you having to say no to things? Is life back to normal, more or less? What is it
more or less? Like? I think we still kind of have rehearsal. There's
always
still press there's still press to do because it never stops. You know, it never stops. Our producers, we just had a meeting with our producers yesterday, and they just are speaking the importance of just knowing that the work never, ever, 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 ever stops. We want to be a hit show, and we want to run like the Phantoms. You know, we want to run.
Yeah.
These shows, they run because the work with the cast and everybody backstage, everyone involved, it never stops. It never stops, and we have to be in tip-top shape. We want this show, every show that anyone is ever seeing, even though the hype of the Tony Awards has ended, you know, we still want to be the same show that we were when all the Tony verdicts are coming. You know, when we had to make sure, okay, this is a week where a lot of people are going to be in, you know, that is right. You have to be in top form all the time, if we want this show and this legacy to continue to be what it is.
Is that tiring or invigorating?
I think it's invigorating, you know, to be a part of the Temptations legacy. What? Little old me who drew ghosts and wrote a little Harry Potter book, to be a part of the Temptations legacy. You know, we have to work hard to keep that up, because we are the introduction to some, you know, the group of kids, you know, even though they were from Detroit and a lot of them knew who the Temptations were anyway, we are the introductions to the Temptations and to theater, period. For a lot of people, we have a responsibility to keep it up. Yeah. We have a responsibility to make sure that we are performing the same show every night that's going to change somebody's perspective or make somebody want to do this as a career field, or, you know, change someone's whole day around. We have to, the work never stops. We have to make sure. Because it's greater than us. And that's a theme in the show. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's greater than us. Everything is always greater than us. And I think as actors, we have to understand that, because if the actors that we grew up, you know, seeing, and if they didn't have that understanding, where would we be right now? Mm-hmm. You know, legacies for us.
You're so right. And I often think back, I was almost in middle school, and I saw Beauty and the Beast.
Ooh.
And it was, you think about it for the performers. It's a Wednesday matinee. It's been running for a hot minute. And, you know, wherever they were in their mind, but the fact that they gave 100% the day that I saw that.
It's why you're sitting right here.
It's why I'm doing it still.
Could you imagine, like, how dare anybody get on that stage and say, I can't give anything less than 1,000?
Yeah, the influence you're having on someone's life.
Man,
at a Wednesday, like a matinee.
A Wednesday matinee, you know, you're tired, didn't get to sleep till 3 a.m., had to wake up 6 hours later just to warm up your voice. Yeah. And, you know, you on the way, the train ride into the city, you're like, geez, my back hurts. My voice is probably at a 2% right now. But the minute that curtain comes up, the minute that overture starts, that first line that you say, you have a responsibility. Yes, it is about doing what you love.
Of course.
But there is somebody in the audience who looks like you, who never could imagine someone looking like them, who's on the stage doing what you are doing. There's somebody who sees himself in you, and it could be they could be in their last, what they feel like maybe their last chance at life. And they see you, and you could have saved them from making a different decision. Art does that for people, and we have to give 1,000%. There is no marking. Because you danced that hard when you were tired and your knees were hurting a little bit, because you danced that hard, somebody had the inspiration to get up and dance, and that dancing might just save their life.
And save someone else's.
And save somebody else's life.
Yeah.
Responsibility.
It's the power of storytelling.
Man.
Oh, I love this. It's invigorating.
Goodness, Lord.
I know we are hitting themes today.
Hot.
It is. Yes. Okay. You saw Derek in, did you say Memphis?
Memphis.
And how old were you?
Maybe 15, 14.
If you could talk to that 14-year-old girl
Ooh.
right now, what would you say to her?
All the times that you sat, all the times you looked in the mirror and you didn't think that you were enough, realize that you are. Realize that you are enough and that there is nobody else in this world who is like you, who does what you do, who looks like you, who can offer what you can offer. So every day you have to sit up and you have to look in that mirror and you have to say, I'm going to choose to love me, and I'm going to choose to walk with my head up, because that is so much of it. That is so much of the battle, to sit there and look at yourself. Have you ever just looked at yourself in the mirror? Mm-hmm. It's hard, right? Look at yourself in the mirror. Right. It used to be more difficult, got through puberty and all that stuff. But it's hard to look in the mirror and truly say to yourself, you are enough, you are beautiful, you can do it. You can do it. I had to have that moment a couple weeks ago. I actually had a glass of rosé in my hand. Yeah. And it was the day before I auditioned for one of my dream roles. And I said, this is the end of you feeling like you can't give 100% because maybe you don't think that you are 100%. It's the end of it. So I took my rosé and I looked in the mirror, as hard as that is. I looked in the mirror and I said it. And I think that also, back to the beginning of this conversation, pep talking yourself and realizing that you are in your own place. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you are enough, and you can do it. Mm-hmm. You can do it. And I would also say to 14-year-old me, keep taking ballet classes and stop playing around on the sides and stop running across the room when the teacher's not looking. You're doing your pirouettes across the room. The teacher turns around, you run because
they're not looking.
They're not looking, and your pirouettes are kind of trash. Ooh,
are you still finding your purpose?
Yeah. The work never stops, and we are constantly growing and evolving human beings. And I may find that my purpose is something different tomorrow, but also being okay with that.
Yeah.
Being okay with knowing where you are in the moment and being grounded in where you are in the moment and knowing that you were supposed to be there. I may want to be a painter tomorrow. I may want to be an animal cop. I wanted to be an animal cop when I was younger as well. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah?
A rescue animal cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we ever stop finding our purpose, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Some people do, some people don't. I started to realize to look at my own life as art.
Right.
And that it's not at all going to turn out the way I plan to fit it into this box, to fit this shape.
Right.
It's going to evolve the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the artistry comes, when you just allow yourself to follow
when you just
that
be, when you're just
instead
be.
of trying to pull it. You
right.
Just be. Do your best, show up,
yeah,
be kind.
You just never know. Like, why you can sit here and try to pull your life in a different direction and completely miss what it is you're supposed to be doing.
The best opportunities
Oh
ever.
my gosh. Yeah. And that also goes back to rejection, closing. You think of a no as a closed door, but it's actually an open door to another opportunity that you never even knew was going to exist for you. Mm-hmm. You never knew it was going to exist for you. Man.
That is so true.
No's can be a blessing. I'm going to say no's are a blessing, because you just stopped me from making a big mistake. You just stopped me from, and whatever your dreams and your plans are, they could never even touch what the universe has planned for you, or whoever you want to believe in, or if the universe is yourself. Mm-hmm. It could never touch. I thought I was going to be a writer, a ghost story writer, and an award-winning illustrator.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm here? I could have never imagined. My mom had to force me to audition for the art school that I auditioned for. I was forced. She was like, you're going to do this because I have to work. I have to work. Yeah. And you need to do something. You need to do something creative, because obviously you're a very spunky, outgoing person. You need to do something that's going to keep you from misbehaving, I don't want to.
Organized misbehavior.
Right.
It's theater.
No, thank you. I don't want to, Mom.
Yeah.
I want to do this instead. And
along this line of rejection, and the no's being a blessing, do you have a favorite failure or favorite failures or parent failures that set you up for success? like no's that turned out to be a bigger yes? Is anything?
Yeah, I want to talk about the time I auditioned for The Color Purple Broadway. I was auditioning for the role of Nettie to take over because the Nettie was leaving. And it was between me and another woman who actually is somebody who changed my life that day in that audition room. I didn't get it. And I wasn't beautiful at the time. And how dare I sit there and say boo-hoo about something, and I was in a Broadway show. You learn and you grow. You know, I know not to do that now. I didn't get it. And I was so distraught. And also just I auditioned for Hamilton as well. You know, everybody was auditioning for Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I had a couple callbacks, and ultimately it was a no. And, you know, tying back to Color Purple, if I would have gotten that job, I wouldn't have been able to create Ain't Too Proud. I wouldn't be able to be in that room at all. I wouldn't have been available, you know, because I was in Beautiful at the time. There were so many other girls who were auditioning for it, and I didn't have an appointment, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't have an appointment, but because I did not get that job at Color Purple, I sat in dressing room chair number 3, and I heard people talking about this audition for the Detroit Project, was what it was called. Because they told me no, I was able to sit where I was supposed to be sitting to hear this information. And from there, I auditioned. And here I am sitting with you.
Here we are.
Just because Color Purple told me no. And I cried. I was so upset. I cried. I was like, I'm perfect for this job. I just don't understand. And even with the girl who did get the job, she got the job, and she was able to get another job because of where she was in that position on that Thursday when she got the appointment from her agent or her manager. You know, everything is tied together. Everything is tied together. And now she is a Universal Swing in Hamilton, and she is the bomb. She is the bomb. You know,
Yeah.
and she got that Hamilton job because somebody told her no 5 years ago.
How long was the recovery rate for this, from the no in The Color Purple to you realizing that it's opening the door for something bigger? Or did you not really realize that until
Probably.
later on?
Probably not until I got. I feel like I've become more enlightened. So I think I really, really realized it probably
Like
last
here.
Yeah, here
Like
and being okay. Like, oh my God, that
in your soul.
They said no because they said no. Here I am.
Yeah.
But I think when I realized, I guess when I got into Ain't Too Proud, into the workshop, I was like, I'm in this room. But I would ultimately say, being at peace with that and understanding that no's are a blessing, I would have to say last year. I would have to say right now.
Yeah.
It's resonating even stronger right now.
Yeah.
Being able to just say that, and the more you can understand that rejections are a blessing in disguise, the more you can say that and hear yourself say that, because of that, no, I am here. Because I didn't get into CCM. Right? For all the people who are auditioning for schools right now.
Yeah.
You may have gotten 15 no's from schools because you weren't meant to be there. You want to know why? Because you got to know from that, you're going to be the next Tony Award winning somebody somewhere else. Because you got, you know.
That's a great point. And that one resonates with me because there was a number of colleges I wanted to be in. And I went to like my safety school, which is hilarious because I've had such a great time. You know, like my relationship with
Safety
that school is like great. Like we all love each other.
Right.
But it's just so funny because I went to a state college. I went to SUNY Fredonia. Shout out Western New York,
Come
Fredonia.
through.
It saved me a whole hell of a lot with them college loans. I'll
Hello?
tell you. State
Look.
college. And as a result, though, I pushed myself further. You know, at Circle in
Yeah.
the Square, Stella Adler, studying in the summer, just doing more.
Yes.
And the relationships that I've made at those two places alone are just like,
Right.
I would have totally rested on my laurels if I went to like
Hello?
one of the ones I thought I should be going to.
Hello?
Almost positive.
See?
And it's that alone sets you up to, if I want something, I have to do it. No is not an option.
Do it. No is not an option. And also knowing that you're not there for a reason.
Yeah.
You work hard, but also you're not there for a reason. You didn't get into those schools for a reason.
It's good stuff.
It is. Like I can't stress that enough. Just like timing is everything. Timing is everything. If there's one thing that I'm not the best at articulating the things that are on my heart sometimes. As you can see, I ramble. I ramble just a little bit.
Is good. It's good though. Okay.
But like, if there's one thing that anybody could take away, it's just being okay with where you are and understanding timing.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm gonna say that probably 3 more times.
It's good though, because some people won't hear it until the 3rd.
Yeah. Or 15th.
Or 15th. Until they listen to this whole episode a second time.
Right.
It's so true. It's so good. Okay. As we're wrapping up here.
Sure.
Metaphorically speaking, word or a phrase that you would put on a billboard for millions of people to see. Does anything come to mind?
What passes you up was never meant for you, and what is meant for you will never pass you up.
That's so true.
Yep.
This is great.
I'm basically saying the same thing with every question.
Yeah, but it's said differently, and it's good. It's good to repeat it.
Pass you up.
It's good for me. It's good for you.
Yeah.
It's good for anyone listening. Do you have any like favorite books? Have you read? Do you get to read much?
Yes, actually,
I know you're busy.
bought a Kindle.
You are busy
because I love to read. And I didn't read a lot in college. I actually just started like really picking up books again. Not saying that I didn't read books from college to now, but like really being passionate about reading and understanding what it does. Yeah. I would have to say Jennifer Lewis's book, The Mother of Black Hollywood.
Okay. Yeah.
That book made me realize that it's okay to say that I'm struggling with anxiety and stress. Jennifer Lewis, I believe, is bipolar. And she spoke about it a lot in her book, and just the fact that she had to sit there and say, this is where I'm working with today. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. And because she talked about it in that book, it made me realize, okay, maybe I need to speak with somebody about this. So I would say that book. I would say The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. And that book is about saying yes to things that scare you. And that's also a big thing for me, saying yes to things that scare me, because you grow from that, you evolve from that. I'm reading a book right now called The Book of Joy, and it's by Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama. The Book of Joy, finding joy in suffering, finding joy in sadness, how stress and sadness, how you can find joy in that, and realizing that you're never alone in your suffering. I'm not done with the book yet. I'm actually on the stress part right now, which is really speaking with me. Yeah.
Do you journal?
I could be better at it.
Okay.
I could be better at it. Because I have so much in my head and I write so fast, my hands cramp very easily. So
same.
Yeah.
When I finally get a book
So it's like,
down in front of me to write, I'm like, I can't keep up.
It's like my hand is actually hurting. But also sometimes I judge myself on what I'm writing, and I'm nervous because I think that sometimes when you write things down, you say things, and then when you write things down, they become true, and you accept them. And I think that I need to be better at accepting things to be true and knowing that's where I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This conversation, mind opening.
Okay, I'm so glad.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of this. Is there anything else you want to add before we end? We covered a lot.
Not to be, for anyone who is listening, and I'm 26, so I know there are people who are older who are going to listen to this and say, I'm not taking no advice from no 26-year-old, and I can understand that. But, you may need to hear it, and this is something that I'm learning. I'll say a couple of things.
Okay.
Self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people say that, but until you really get into it, you won't understand. Self-care is so important. Saying no to things is okay. Being overwhelmed is okay. being an outgoing person who sometimes needs quiet time is okay. But being okay with being quiet, there is nothing wrong with preserving your energy. There is nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I just need to sit, and I just need to be by myself for a couple moments. Stop being so hard on yourself. And I'm also saying that to Nasia Thomas. Stop being so hard on yourself, because you're where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be for a reason. You're exactly where you're supposed to be for a reason. You're sitting here for a reason. So why worry? Stop judging yourself so harshly. You can be self-critical to improve, but you can't judge yourself, because we are human beings who are constantly growing and evolving, and we are different people next month. We will be different people next month, and you will learn, and you'll sit there and say, oh my God, I can't believe Color Purple. I can't believe I cried over that. I can't believe I had the nerve to say that I wasn't talented enough. I can't believe I had the nerve to do that, because guess what came knocking on the door? You never know what the next opportunity will be. So be okay with where you are, and know that you are on the right path, and things will always turn out for you because they're meant to. And whoever says no to you, whatever doesn't work out in your favor, is for a reason, and to be grateful for that down the road. And to meditate. Take time for yourself. Sit in stillness. Yes. I guess come see
Nasia Thomas out. That was great.
Yeah.
This is okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking this time.
Thank you.
And thank you for actually sharing these things, because it's very difficult to, I think, expand on these ideas to a point where someone can hear it.
Yeah.
And I hear it. And as a result, I'm sure I know other people are going to really hear it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nasia Thomas.
You've been listening to Entertainment X, the podcast. You can follow Entertainment X on Instagram at _EntertainmentX_. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join Clay next week for another curiosity conversation on Entertainment X. Thank you for listening.